Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Buccaneers podcast. We are live in our first ever live edition of the podcast. I'm your host, Tampa Tones. We're welcomed in by a lot of great people, including co-host of the pod, Bucco The Bruce, co-host of the pod, Tampa Stunna. We'll bring them in here shortly. And then we're welcomed by a very special guest tonight, Big Mike Martinez from Big Rican on Sports Podcast, covers New York and Ohio-based sports. Mike, thanks for joining tonight. How we doing on Super Bowl Eve?
Doing real good. Thanks for the invite.
Yeah, anytime. Bucco, Stunna, how we doing on your guys' behalf on the eve before our team's Super Bowl?
You know me, just restless, anxious, confident, the whole realm, man. I'm ready. We're feeling it all, buddy.
Yeah, Stunna, how you feel?
Gucci.
That's the Gucci. Short and sweet. We're welcomed in by some great people. And then Killa Huncho's also in the lobby waiting to join. We're going to be joined by him briefly, a guest on the Buccaneers. And then Anthony Gaitor, former Buccaneers cornerback, does plan to join us for at least a couple of minutes at some point in this episode. So that'll be a lot of fun. Without further ado, we're going to bring in Killa as well. Killa, how we doing tonight down in Tampa?
Huncho.
We'll see if he gets going. We'll see if he gets in. But fellas who are here, how we feeling about the game tomorrow? It's a little nerve-wracking, not going to lie. I'm excited for the game tomorrow, but at the same time, I'm a little nervous.
No, there's no nerves. Like I said, I've been confident this whole time. I knew we'd be here. I know it sounds crazy, but those of y'all who listen to the pod and those who follow me on Twitter know that I've been saying this was coming for months now. So I'm not nervous. I'm anxious. I'm ready for it to happen. Like a kid ready to get them Christmas gifts. We're getting this shit going, man. Squad up.
Yeah, we got a comment from Olivia Scordato saying squad. We appreciate the comment. That's pretty cool. Big Mike, I know you're not technically a Buccaneers fan, but what's your view on tomorrow's game, having it be in the team that took down your Browns against the Buccaneers with Tom Brady?
It's a little twofold. So I don't know if you see the hat I have on and the logo on the front. So you know where I stand on your quarterback, unfortunately. But in all seriousness, this is going to be a great game. I was talking to a buddy of mine about this earlier this week. If it's a close game, I think you boys get a ring. If it's a track meet, I don't know if you guys have the firepower to keep up with these boys. And that's just from watching them as much as I have. I got a lot of love for Kelsey because that's the same part of Cleveland I'm from. And I'm excited for I'm not going to watch a whole bunch. I got to get my kid at work tomorrow night. So I'm excited for how it's going to unfold. Like I said, if it's going to be a track meet, this is going to be a tough one for you guys to keep up. I think just Kansas City is so loaded on the offensive side of the ball. And they're an opportunistic defense as opposed to hit you in the mouth type of defense like you guys have, which has played really well all season. Mm-hmm. So if you keep it close, I really think you boys can get another ring. First one since you embarrassed the Raiders. But if this turns it, I just have a feeling if it turns into a track meet, it's going to be tough for you boys to keep up. And that's just because of Kansas City. It's nothing against your offense. Your offense has played great.
Honestly, it's like I went into a time machine just now, Tones. That is the same exact take I heard 18 years ago for that Rich Gannon, Jerry Rice, Tim Brown, Raiders offense. We can't keep up with them. Damn that shit. We're going to hit them in the mouth. The weather's going to soften that field a little bit. Yes, you're right. If we want to get in the track meet with these guys, we're not going to beat them. But this is a football game, not a fucking 100-meter dash. Let's go, boys.
And I agree with you on until one thing you said. If you're really going to put Rich Gannon and Patrick Mahomes in the same conversation, there's an issue.
Never. Even though he was the league's MVP that year,
yes,
he did that year, 18 years ago, was a record-setting offense. All things considered, even that offense pales in comparison to what these guys are doing. And anyone that's going to sit here and downplay Pat Mahomes and Andy Reid and this Chiefs offense, they're lying to themselves. These fuckers are good. One of the best I've ever seen. So, but the thing is that everybody's discounting. We have scored 31 or more points in 7 straight games. We are hitting quarterbacks in the mouth at the highest clip in the NFL. We have the most points off of turnovers in the NFL. Mm-hmm. So there's no reason we can't compete with these guys. If you want to slug it out, we can score 38 with you. If you want to keep it in the 20s, we can do that with you as well. I'm just hoping, like you said, the game's within a score and 12 has the ball at the end. Because I know we're going to win if that's the case.
Yeah, if Tom Brady does have the ball at the end, I like our chances a lot, as he is the best of all time. Very exciting, a lot of fun. So we'll see what happens here. And Stunna, I want to get your opinion. Do you agree with Bucco as, we're ready to go, or do you think it's going to be more of a shootout and we could fall behind and maybe get in trouble?
No, I'm pretty psyched up about the game. It's going to play out how it plays out. But, football's about tackling, blocking, and execution. And I like our running game over theirs. If you remember, they came back on San Francisco by running the football last year. Right. And I just don't see us letting them back in the game with their running game, especially with their O-line banged up. I don't see them able to really pound the rock like they did against the Niners. I like our chances, but it's about turnovers and stuff. It's whoever doesn't play sloppy, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really who plays clean football, I feel like, between the two. I mean, you got a battle of the immortal. It's a phenom against an immortal. It's just two great guys, Mahomes, Brady, two guys who aren't mistake-prone by any means, but it could very well come down to which of these two do bend the knee more. I mean, Brady had 3 interceptions last game, so I do expect him to clean up a little bit for this game. I know some of them were panic throws, under pressure, etc. But last game he did have 3 interceptions. That's what the stat says. That's what he had. It's I expect a little bit better ball control from Sir Tom Brady this upcoming game.
He fucking better. We have 3 turnovers against this team. We're losing. We are not going to hold them to 6 points off of 3 turnovers. I guarantee that. So, yeah, ball security, physicality. This game, honestly, is going to be won in the trenches. Their D-line and our D-line. That's where this game is going to be won. 2 great quarterbacks, 2 explosive, weapon-laden offenses. It's going to come down to their defensive line and how much pressure they generate, and ours and how much we generate. So that's why I think this game is won and lost.
The one thing you boys should be worried about when you're talking about the D-lines going at each other is I think the one thing that Stun made a great point. They ran the rock last year to catch up with San Francisco. Yeah. Their screen game with a healthy Clyde Edwards-Helaire and a healthy Le'Veon Bell is going to be something that no one has seen. And if it's – listen, man, it's Andy Reid calling plays with Eric Bieniemy for this guy. That was how the Browns lost that game outside of that garbage call in the end zone. But if you guys, which you're a pressure-laden interior D-line, if they can run the screen game, that's got to be something you're worried about because they're not going to run the ball. He's not going to turn around and hand it to Edwards-Helaire and Le'Veon. I think they're going to run a lot of screen. I think they're going to run a lot of crossing routes because of the speed on the outside with Tyreek Hill. And you got to watch out for the tight end. I know you boys have O.J. Howard and you have Gronk. Or is O.J. Howard still healthy? Sorry,
O.J. Howard towards Achilles.
But we got Brady.
Yeah.
Okay. Kelsey is going to be a problem. One of the prop bets, you ready for this? His over-under on catches is 8.5. His over-under on yards is 100.5.
Over. Here's the thing.
I bet the house on the over.
I'm going to let Travis Kelsey get 10 catches, $120. I would much rather die by 1,000 paper cuts than that fucking number 10 getting 60, 70-yard touchdowns, just demoralizing everything. So, yeah. I'm okay. I'm taking Kelsey out. I'm taking Tyreek Hill out. I'm taking him out of the game plan. I'm bracketing him the entire night. Damn it, Sammy Watkins, Travis Kelsey, and Mecole Hardman have to beat me. Tyreek Hill's not going to beat me like he did. He's not having 200-yard quarter against us this game. I guarantee it.
I don't believe Todd Bowles will let that happen. My whole point with that was even if you can bracket him, it's just that, listen, I watched it. Yeah. The Kelsey, first of all, Kelsey led the league in yards after catch. So that's where I think they're going to try and get you. As far as the other side, I don't like Kansas City's pass rush. I think Brady's going to be able to sit in the pocket a little bit. I know Baker was. They only got to him a couple of times. And that was, granted, the Browns offensive line, I think, is the best one in the league, but that's a little bit of bias.
No, they are. They're definitely the best in the league. I don't think mine's too much further behind them. But
I absolutely agree with you.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, joined in.
Look at Huncho.
Joined in on the call now. We
driving.
got one of our very own driving, so be safe out there, buddy. We got none other than Huncho, Super Bowl Huncho. Look at that, the
What
seatbelt for
up?
safety.
What
How
up,
we doing,
Killa?
Huncho?
What up, y'all boys?
Hey, man. Drink one for me, but don't do it while you're driving. Be
Amen.
safe, brother.
Man, I can't make any promises.
How are the vibes out there tonight, right now in the Tampa area, Huncho? Can you hear us?
Yeah, my bad. A lot of shit going on. What's going on?
How you doing tonight? And how are the vibes out there in the Tampa area right now with the Super Bowl approaching quickly?
Man, this shit is real fucking crazy. I ain't gonna lie, Tones, it's crazy. This shit is crazy. Traffic is horrible, but I see a lot of Bucks fans. Somebody snatched my flag off the side of my car. I don't know what the fuck. It's like it's lit. That's all I can say. It's
Yeah.
lit down here, bro. It's lit.
Hey,
I wish our
there's
boys was here.
I wish I was there. There's one thing I know about my city. They turn up when the team is performing. It don't matter if the Lightning, the Rays, the fucking Mutiny, old soccer team, whatever. It doesn't matter. Them dudes, they show out when we're winning. The city is live
Yeah.
right now. I guarantee it.
Yeah, and without further
It
ado,
definitely is,
welcomed
bro.
in
It
by
definitely is.
welcomed in by another guest. Not to cut you off, Killa. We got former Buccaneer cornerback Anthony Gaitor on for at least a couple of minutes here. We're lucky enough to get some of his time to depict the big Super Bowl game. Anthony Gaitor, how are we tonight, my man? Can you hear us?
Tell me how you doing. I can hear you pretty good.
What up, Gate?
What's good with you, man? How you been?
Man, living.
That was up. That was up.
Gator, what up,
A
bro?
What's good with you?
lot of love for you,
Tampa
Gators.
having a ball, man.
I know, man. I know. It's crazy over there right now.
Yeah, you still in
Yes,
Miami,
sir.
or did you make it down there yourself?
No, I'm still in Miami. I ain't get a chance to make it down. Watch the Super Bowl with my family at home.
Yeah, same here, man. It sucks. It's stuck in Atlanta for this game, man. But I'm there in spirit. I know that.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I'm there.
So,
Hey,
Anthony,
man, I'm in New York. I'm getting more snow.
yeah, snow
I just
over
left for
there,
some
snow over here in Chicago too, man.
Yeah, I just left for some snow in Colorado.
Ooh.
Oh, you were in Colorado?
Yeah, I was on last weekend in Colorado. Just left the snow, the mountains.
That's a good time in Colorado, though, and you did resort back to Florida for the Super Bowl. Last time we talked to you, it was before the New Orleans game.
Yeah, I know, man.
And I think you wanted the Bucks, but I think you said that the Saints might sneak away with one. How are you feeling this time around, Bucks Chiefs?
Oh man, I gotta
How
go
do you
with the
think we
Bucks.
looking?
No doubt the Bucks, no doubt. It's written for Tom Brady. It's written for everything in his favor right now. I don't. He been in this moment before. I think he's gonna put it off.
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna give y'all a little nugget real quick because this shit baffled me. In the last, I think it was in the last 7 Super Bowls, wherever the majority of the betting public money, if it went over 75%, that team lost. The team that was heavily favored lost. The Kansas City Chiefs are now 81% of the betting public got their money on Kansas City, the highest in any Super Bowl in 10 years. Oh, we're gonna make a lot of people upset.
Yeah,
And
we
I can't wait.
We are.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we could make a lot of people upset. Hey, I mean, I bet on the Bucks, so I'd be happy, obviously, in more ways than one. Team comes before money. Team fandom comes before money, but why not do both? I've been taking the Bucks this whole run. In the past 2 games, they were underdogs. So this is the 3rd game as the underdog. Anthony, while we have you, quick, who are you looking out for tomorrow? I know you gave a shout out to Carlton Davis last time you were on. He's been playing incredible. We talked about Sean Murphy bunting a little bit. He stepped his game up with 3 interceptions in a row. And then obviously the Chiefs have Tyrann Mathieu, Rashad Breeland. I know you're a defensive back guy, but your best friend Levante, or not your best friend, but one of your good friends, Levante David, is playing in the game tomorrow. Who's your player to look out for on either side of the ball?
I'm going with Levante Davis, 54, man. I got my eye on this guy. He got to bring it back home. I think he'll have a big game tomorrow. I mean, he built for these type of moments. he's been waiting for a long time. So I think he's gonna have a big impact tomorrow. And as far as Kansas City, I want to see what Pat Mahomes gonna do. Tyron also, I know he's a big playmaker, so there's gonna be a lot of other guys. Look out there tomorrow. So it's gonna be a great one.
Yeah. I mean, obviously Levante David, the most underrated guy in the entire league.
Right.
We're excited for him to put his talents on display for the whole country to see. But really, on that Chiefs defense, the guy I'm watching is Chris Jones. That's the guy that can wreck our whole fucking party. Because Kenny Clark has really kind of Frank Clark. Kenny Clark was last week. Frank Clark has really kind of fell off a little bit. He's not the dominant pass rusher he was a couple years ago. But that dude Chris Jones is a problem up the middle. And with that young guard replacing Kappa, that would be the one area I'd be paying close attention to.
Aaron Stinney.
Aaron Stinney. Thank you.
Yeah, Aaron Stinney is going to be a great one. Once again, we are the squad of the Buccaneers, joined here briefly by Buccaneers former cornerback and former CFL champion Anthony Gaitor. Anthony, real quickly, as long as we have you here as well, for tomorrow's game, if Tom Brady wins, it's his 7th ring. If Mahomes wins, obviously 2 in 3 years. If Brady wins this ring, do you think that undoubtedly cements him as the greatest to ever play the game, no matter what happens?
Yeah, no question. I mean, I think, from my opinion, I think if you win tomorrow, you should walk away from the game. There's nothing else you could. Other than that, he'll just be playing.
No. We still got one more year.
Don't do that, Gate.
Don't do that.
I mean, what else?
Don't do that, Gate.
He'll just be playing just to have fun, something to do. I mean, what else he prove? He got nothing to prove. I understand you want to bring another championship back to Tampa. But it would make the perfect story for him to walk away like Ray Lewis' story. I'm just looking at it as that his legacy.
No, I got you. But as far as his legacy, there's nothing more need to be written. He doesn't have to win this game to be the GOAT. Right. That dude, look, I hated that fucker for 20 years.
I think like most professional players would like to walk away as a winner, like championship. That's
no
just
doubt.
Stamp that. I mean, this don't define his legacy right here, but it will put a bigger stamp on it and make it a greatest story ever told, ever wrote. Like, it'd be hard to duplicate the story if he do it tomorrow. That's what I'm.
I think he wants to break Morton Anderson's record of the oldest guy to play in a football game. Honestly, I don't see I don't see this guy slowing down anytime soon, man. I mean, he said 45 was the barometer. Now he's saying, fuck it, let's go past 45. Whatever that TB12 experience is, I'm about to get on it, shed some LBs, because that's what he's doing is impressive, bro. Impressive.
Yeah, I need to get Yeah, go on, Big Reek.
I got a quick question for you. Oh, you're good, Huncho. You were a defensive back. Now, we were talking about the weapons that Kansas City brings to this game. How would you face up on Tyreek Hill? Would you let him have some room, or would you be in him trying to play bump and run off the line?
I think that game that as a coordinator, I let other guys beat. I won't let this guy beat me again. That's just bad coaching. I let him beat me again. I mean, let somebody else beat me. I can live with somebody else beat me, not Tyreek Hill, knowing that he could beat me by himself. That would be bad coaching.
Absolutely.
Would you run quarters to his side, or how would you go about it?
Excuse me?
Would you run quarters to his side with a safety corner? How would you go about shutting down Hill?
You got to double this guy. It's just plain and simple. Double. There's no hidden formula to this. Just double him. Like, make sure, eliminate him. I mean, don't give him all short routes, because over top, touchdown. So I give up all the short route. Not play so timid, but just be smart about his game and where he more dangerous at. Like, he more dangerous with the deep ball. Sometimes you turn like a 5 yard to like a 30, but I could live with that. Then a 70, 50 yard pass, I can't live with them type of plays right there.
Absolutely. I said the same thing to open up, man. I mean, I'm thinking you bracket him all the way down the field. You pass him from linebacker to safety. You bracket his ass all the way. If I see him run that 7 route all alone with Carlton Davis chasing it. Look, I love Carlton Davis. CD, you're a dog. But you are not keeping up with Tyreek Hill.
It's just pride to the side. You speaking facts. If you speaking trying to win the game, I won't lead a guy one-on-one.
Absolutely not.
If you leave him one-on-one, as you said, that's bad coaching for sure. Huncho, you got any questions for our man Anthony Gaitor while we have him here?
I mean, not really, but I just want to say I appreciate him playing for the Bucks, and I was a big fan for him while he was playing here. I don't really got no more questions and stuff like that. I mean, I got a couple questions for the group, but that's pretty much it. I appreciate your service. I mean, you was a boss. I liked you when you came out. I think there's a couple guys you came out with.
Man. I appreciate it, man. It's an honor. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
I appreciate you. And you hang around and doing this, man. I appreciate that too.
Oh
Yeah,
man,
no doubt.
anytime. This
Bucks
like
Nation.
right here.
It's just Florida
Tone's a
football,
good
man.
Yeah, it's just family right here, man. It's family. Anytime. Just to get to talk to you guys, it's a blessing, man. And thankful to be on here too. Also, just to
I appreciate it. I appreciate it,
guys.
I appreciate that, dog.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Look, I do got one question for you though.
Okay.
I know you're on limited time, so I don't want to bother you too tough. But tell me what you're seeing with the Kansas City, with the amount of crossers they run, with the amount of that they attack the seams, with Kelsey and with Hardman and with guys like that just attacking the seams to free up that outside edge. How do you get these young safeties, Jordan Whitehead and Winfield, to stay assignment disciplined and not bite on the fake or not jump to underneath route, leaving that seam wide open as we've seen so often? How do you, if you're on the field and you're communicating, how do you preach that discipline and that communication to stay in your lane and not get your eyes in the backfield?
I just think that's just come with practice of doing this week. Just continue to rep how you gonna play this week and understand the film, study how they like to attack you. I just think that's just instant, like film studying, preparation. Continue to see it over and over and practice, and just trust it when you're in the game. Just trust it. Just know you went over all your techniques and everything, your film study, and just go out there and have fun. I know it's a big game for him being a rookie, but I think he'll be good. And just trust his instinct, and how they gonna attack.
It'd be wild to believe it, but I say it with confidence. That rookie is the last one I'm concerned about in the secondary. He seems the most polished.
I like that guy. I like very, very physical.
But we can't play Robert back there either.
Nah.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to
Both
see
our
what
rookies.
happens.
I ain't worried about both our rookies.
Go on, Killa.
They playing good. Both of the rookies playing.
Yeah,
both of the rookies playing very good. I'm not worried about Chris Jones dominating Tristan Wirfs. He's been doing good out there. He's been balling. I mean, he only allowed one sack this year. So I mean, and that was against Khalil Mack. So I'm not really worried about Chris Jones. The first time we played them, they ain't really do shit. I mean, whatever they gonna do, I'm not scared of their defense at all. It's just three guys I'm worried about, and it's Kelsey, Tyreek, and Mahomes. That's pretty much it. And Andy Reid, but that's pretty much it. After that, you know what I'm saying?
What's your
Spagnano.
What prediction? Give me some.
Go on, Gaitor.
I say before I leave, I need some prediction with the scope prediction.
All right, we'll go around and give score predictions before Anthony heads out quick. We'll start with Bucco. We'll go to Big Rican, and we'll swing around. Bucco, you go first.
All right, 38-33 Bucks.
Do it.
An absolute barn burner of a football game, an instant classic to be played on NFL Network.
38 what?
38-33.
He said 38 what?
33.
33. Okay. We ain't logging off here. This is just a score prediction before we lose our good friend Anthony Gaitor. Thanks again for spending some time with us. Big Rican, what's your score prediction? I think he's frozen a little bit. We'll skip the Huncho for now. Huncho, you got a score?
Damn.
28-20.
Oh, okay.
28-20 Bucks. Huncho says
28-20 Bucks.
There we go. Gaitor, what do you got?
It's on me?
Yep, it's on you.
I'm gonna go with 21-28.
21.
One game possession.
Yeah, 21-28. I think it's going to be close. A lot of Tom Brady Super Bowls are often close. I learned in the first quarter, actually, they don't score too much. That was interesting to me. I'm going with we lost Big Rican at least temporarily. Hopefully he does join us back. But I'm going with 41-32 Tampa. I'm going with the 9-point game. I've been going with unique scores this whole time. I'm staying unique. 41-32. I gotta stay unique. I'm superstitious.
I like that score, Tom. I like that.
You know, I hope we could live a little. I know it's Kansas City, but I hope we could live a little easy tomorrow. I'm not expecting it, but I hope it's a possibility. A 9-point game would be music to my ears. I could use a stress-free day. I don't know.
You're not getting that.
2 weeks.
For real.
You're not getting that, bro. You're not getting that.
I know it's a lot to ask for. Let a kid dream, bro. Let a kid
Can
dream.
he dream? Let him dream. Let him dream. Let him
Hey,
dream.
man,
I'm
look,
dreaming right along with you, Tones, man.
You can dream tonight. When we wake up tomorrow, we got to face reality. We're going to beat these boys. This is the defending champs. We're
going to sleep good tomorrow night.
Yeah, we're
going to sleep good tomorrow night.
Absolutely.
We're going to sleep good after
We're going to
staying
sleep good
up late.
tomorrow night. No,
I'm gonna be heavily medicated. I
don't give a damn if it's about 2 points.
Hey, we got 2 more score predictions to get to quick before we let Anthony go. Once again, thanks again, Anthony. Stunna, we'll start with you. Score prediction quick, and then we'll get Big Ricans.
I'll go 31-28 Bucks. The Bucks scored 30 points in every playoff game this year.
There we go. I like it short and sweet, and we keep
That's
on the
good.
attack.
I like that.
I like it too. 31-28 Bucks for Stunna. Big Rican, any score prediction on your behalf from the Cleveland Browns guy from Big Rican on Sports? Mike, what is he gonna do? You can see him pondering. He's laughing. We'll hear him.
38-35 Kansas City. I just think too much. I think a big kick a long way away.
Hey, cut his mic off. Cut his mic off right now. I don't even know. Cut his mic and his camera off right now, Tom.
You really bringing bad energy.
Now you joking. Now, what's the real prediction? What's your real prediction? What's your real prediction?
All right. 38-35 Kansas City.
All right. Well, you leaving with Anthony Gaitor. Both of them leaving at the same time.
He drinking that Chiefs pack.
I appreciate the objectivity. The rest of the country is going that route. You really can't get mad at dudes. I don't know, because they don't watch Tampa Bay football. Let's be honest. For the last 18 years, we ain't been shit. But let them sleep, because right now we're great and we're ready and we're fucking at home.
I'm gonna talk.
Hey, I've been going to the games all them years.
Hey, all right, Tom, I'm out of here.
Hey, Anthony, thank you.
For the freaking, I'm talking my shit.
Love you, buddy.
All right, brother, love y'all.
All right,
Take care.
Yeah, we love you, man.
All right, Gay.
All right, now y'all boy, take care.
Yeah.
Late.
Yeah, you too, Gator. Enjoy the day tomorrow. That was pretty cool, man. Former Buccaneer cornerback Anthony Gaitor was able to hop in and talk and spend some time with us. I think that's his third appearance on the Buccaneers podcast, so pretty cool. We picked his brain before the New Orleans game.
Gucci.
We picked his brain. Yeah, Gucci. We picked his brain this past off season, and we picked his brain today before the Super Bowl. He said that he thought it was going to be Kansas City, Tampa Bay a couple weeks back, but then he ended up picking New Orleans. So
right.
And y'all
didn't kick him off the show.
Who? Oh yeah, Gator.
Gator said he thought it was going to be Bucks New Orleans.
Hey, Big R guy can have his opinion now.
Yeah, you're right.
Now listen, if you would have asked me to begin the playoffs, I'd have told you Browns and Packers, but that's just because I'm a homer and my best friend of 30-some years is a Packer fan with a sister living in Titletown.
Mike, let me ask you a question.
Yeah, I'm glad we fucked them over. I'm glad we fucked them over.
Let me ask you a question.
Packers overrated.
Do you think the Browns are better defensively and offensively? Do you think that they're better than the Bucks right now? Do you think the Browns are a better team right now?
I think defensively, if we're at full strength, if we're at full strength, we're very comparable. Because you got to remember, we went this season without one of the top-rated corners in the league half the season in Denzel Ward. Grant Delpit didn't play a single snap.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of Delpit. I didn't like him at LSU either.
Right.
Just to be fair, I'm putting that out.
I got you.
I really think.
But here's a name for you. MJ Stewart started the game against Pittsburgh.
Fuck MJ Stewart. Okay.
Exactly. But hey, he had a pick against Penn, so I'm good.
MJ Stewart is so bad we cut him, and y'all picked him up.
Terrence Mitchell played at Hillsborough High School.
Terrence Mitchell played. Yeah, he's from.
So did Dwight Gooden.
But damn, you know your history.
I'm a Met fan.
Oh damn. Already, I'm a Brave man. I don't like y'all. But
me neither.
No, but seriously, damn, because the way y'all's defense played against them was really. Let's be fair. You got one legitimate pass rusher, Myles Garrett. The rest of your D-line, the effort guys, your linebackers don't like them. Your secondary is okay, but y'all had a plan, and you hit guys in the mouth. And if Peoples-Jones doesn't fumble that fucking ball out the back of the end zone, you beat this team.
I know, and that was Rashard Higgins, by the way.
Excuse me, thank you.
Ooh.
And I look at Rashard Higgins for the Browns, the receiver.
Hollywood Higgins.
I think that my defense is better than Cleveland.
the third wide receiver.
Right.
Yeah, but Dell tears his ACL in week 7. You kind of have to bump him up to number 2.
Yeah, I mean Higgins actually had a nice year. I picked him.
Him and Baker have a lot of chemistry.
Who's our third wide receiver?
The other wide receivers, Jarvis Landry,
AB
Jones.
I'm saying who's Tampa's third wide receiver?
Oh, Antonio
AB.
Higgins would never be that good ever.
No, never that.
No, I agree.
And the key I'm talking about is
defense. But I can tell you that I don't think Leonard Fournette and whoever else you got are ever going to be Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb. There you go.
Absolutely.
Who?
Nick Chubb.
I'll give you Chubb, but Hunt, come on.
Yeah.
They only had one good year this year. One good year.
Rojo's comparable to Hunt.
That's it.
Yeah, well, I mean, the Browns running backs are lethal. It'd be epic. I'd give the Bucs the upper hand, obviously.
Yeah,
but the Browns
I didn't mean to go down.
Browns would have killed the Bills.
Exactly.
We would have killed the fucking Bills. I wanted the Bills so bad. Oh, God, I wanted to win that goddamn game.
Way overrated.
I wanted the fucking Chiefs because fuck them. Fuck their little Kermit the Frog-looking quarterback. And I'm tired of everyone fucking putting him on a pedestal and saying he's the GOAT. I'm tired of that. We have the GOAT.
That motherfucker does sound like Kermit the Frog. He sounds just like Kermit the fucking Frog, dude. That shit is wild.
Listen, man, his daddy played for the Mets, so I got some love.
Who was he? Was he a bullpen guy? Come on, he wasn't nobody. Come on.
He's got a champion. He's got a pennant with the Mets, man. I got some love.
Oh, okay. Well, hey, that's fine. Either here. Hey, listen. I understand. I can tell just by talking when you got some ball knowledge, and I like good football talk. I like objectivity. But there's no way you can sit there and see what your Browns did defensively and say Tampa Bay cannot match that.
I agree they can.
Or exceed it. So,
I agree they can. The difference is, unless you knock Mahomes out in the third quarter, it's a different animal. Yeah. Remember, that was Chad Henne that we stupidly let scramble 14 yards.
14 yards from Chad Henne. Absolutely.
But
the refs held the Browns down the whole first half.
Guys, we do have some breaking news here. Not involving the Buccaneers, but we do have breaking news around the NFL. The Saints are at the center of attention again for being scumbags. Surprise, surprise. According to Tom Pelleroso and Ian Rappaport, the New Orleans Saints are facing the biggest discipline yet after the NFL discovered more COVID protocol violations, including surveillance video of an interaction that may have contributed to running back Alvin Kamara's positive test in December. So we might have
Payton almost blew the draft with his COVID ass.
Yeah.
Damn, that's some dirty ass shit. They could have gave us COVID.
Look, I hate them motherfuckers, dude. Whatever the NFL does to them is not enough. Period. They had to damn near try to murder Brett Favre on the field just to get to the Super Bowl. They're a trash organization, a trash fan base. They're out. Look at their salary cap. They're out here playing like they have monopoly money. They sold their fucking soul for the last 3 years and came up with nothing. Like Drew Brees has been in the NFC for 14 years, 15 years. Him and Tom Brady have the same number of NFC championship games. Get that guy off my fucking TV screen. I'm tired of
Talk your
seeing
shit,
him.
Bucco.
Put a paper bag back on their fucking heads. Let that stadium be half empty. The rest of them will go back to being Cowboys fans, and we never have to talk about them again. That is my ideal situation.
Hey, Bucco, you sound like me talking about the Pittsburgh Steelers.
But then but the Steelers have fucking 6 rings. The Saints are trash.
Steelers fans are arrogant as shit and they're trash.
Yeah. I mean,
in my hierarchy,
you would
Steelers fans are here and Michigan fans are here. Okay, they're garbage.
You would think the Saints had 6 rings the way these dumbass people talk. Right. It's so fucking annoying, dude.
But they're still not Cowboy fans.
Nah, but they used to be Cowboy fans before Katrina. Fuck that. But go ahead.
Yeah. I mean,
from Eating W's to shedding tears.
Eating W's to shedding tears, the New Orleans Saints in a nutshell in the 2020 NFL season, perhaps. So that's interesting to see. Jameis Winston, he was bragging, and we'll see if he's the future of the Saints, if he's the next quarterback. But that's for another show to talk about. But that's epic. What the Saints have done. No surprise that they are at the center of attention yet again. Speaking of other breaking news here real quick while we're on the topic of breaking news, Leon Spinks, who beat Muhammad Ali in biggest upset in history, has passed away. That's pretty sad. That's an old boxing nugget there. Man. Yeah,
he made Mike Tyson.
Yeah. My pops just texted that to me. So a little other nugget of breaking news on the Buccaneers Super Bowl kickoff show. That's some sad ones. Our thoughts, prayers, and condolences go out to his family. And anyone have any thoughts about him? I obviously,
Mike Tyson beat him for his first title. That's all. The only remnants I have of Leon Spinks is Mike Tyson beating him. The only way I know Mitch Green was Mike Tyson punched him in the face in the subway. So, rest in peace. I'm sorry to hear about his passing, but he wasn't memorable for my life. I'm sorry.
And with me, it's more he beat a very over-the-hill Muhammad Ali who was forced to take that fight to win his world title. And for me, who actually lived in the area where Mike Tyson trained, he trained in the Catskills. I got to tell you, watching Mike Tyson knock Leon Spinks out brought joy to my heart because Ali is the greatest of all time.
Yeah, Ali's a beast. Rest in peace to him.
Muhammad Ali is a freaking beast. Rest in peace to that as well. On the Super Bowl show, there goes Huncho. He is faded out, it seems like, but we'll add him back. He's still here.
Right here. You can't hear me?
There he is.
I can say my little piece, Tone.
You got to your place.
Hey, Tone, let me say my piece. Hey, I can't flip the camera around. I don't know how to do all that, and my shit a little delayed. So I'm gonna just say this: I'm downtown, right here, headed to the experience. I'm meeting my girl and her my kids and all that. And yeah, man, the city is lit right now, and I'm a little delayed. So y'all bear with me. I have to come back on the show and do it, the right way. But yeah,
hey,
it's good.
Killer, thanks for coming, man.
Thanks for trying, man. We love you.
Thanks, bro.
Tell the gang and them I said cheers, and let's get this shit. Let's go.
Yeah, Huncho, thanks so much for joining, bro. We're glad you could bring a little
boys, we out here.
Yeah, we're glad you could bring a little bit of the city to the show, Buccaneers, on Super Bowl Eve, our favorite day of the year, especially when the Buccaneers are in that game. Killa, thanks again. There goes Killa. Fading out. It was a treat having him so far. We've had a couple of great guests, Anthony Gaitor, former Buccaneers cornerback Anthony Gaitor, that is, and we had Buccaneers fan and Red Imputer member Killa Huncho stop by. He's actually in Tampa on the way to the experience. He really wanted to call in, and he called in and he delivered. So that was actually our first call in live on the Buccaneers. We had special guest Anthony Gaitor interview, then we had a call in with Killa Huncho. That was pretty cool. And we're joined still by Mike Martinez from Big Rican on Sports and two great other co-hosts of the Buccaneers podcast, Bucco The Bruce, Tampa Stunner. We're literally just running until, we're excited. We're going at least an hour until an hour and a half. Who knows? Until whenever we want. The night is young. I know. Yep, Run It, Stunna says. He was actually at the Brandon Mall earlier. Stunna, I want to hear your thoughts and takes on that again. How were the Chiefs fans in the takeover of the mall? Were there a lot of them, or was it Buccaneer flooded out?
Nah, man, it was Bucks. I was at University Mall. If you know the Tampa area, that's a little night and day right there. And then I did go to Citrus Park Mall later. And I will say it was more vibe for the Bucks University, but University's in the inner city more, where Citrus Park is out there in suburb land. And but it was Bucks gear everywhere, man. Both malls, Bucks gear up the ass. Only seen it two. Like I said, I see two people came in the University with Chiefs on, and they were getting hazed hard. So man, the city's on fire, man.
We don't play that.
I tell you.
Look, our fans are cordial in the stadium. We're not going to be like the Eagles and throwing fucking batteries at old people. We're not that ridiculous. But you walk around the city with that shit on, you're going to get some shit. You know, it's during the game is one thing, but you can't just walk around the city repping your fucking shit. You get out of here. Go back to Missouri. No one wants to go to Missouri anyway. Isn't it Missouri, not Missouri? Fucking bums.
You're talking about Missouri like I talk about the state of Michigan, bro. Yeah. Where my wife and I were out today, and she had made a comment about something smelling funny. I said, "Are we in Michigan? It smells like hot dog water." So listen, I got you, but I'm the dude who goes to Philly in a Met jersey. I don't care.
Hey.
Fuck them.
Fuck them. I rock my shit. I do it, but I'm just saying, don't expect not to hear shit if you're going around Tampa wearing that shit.
We got the nicest fans ever.
We do. I mean, we're a transient city. You have to understand, all of y'all snowbirds come down here. Like when the Giants come to play, fuck, I hate going to the game because no matter what, even if we're undefeated, the stadium's still going to be half blue. Just because there's so many of y'all down here. And that's fine, but you live here, you support the city, you get a pass. But when you're coming from, ain't no Chiefs fans traveling. That's a local, regional team just like we are. So don't come down here from out of town acting funny. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I got family in Tampa on both sides, my wife's side and mine. So
I fucking know you do. Once you said you were from New York, I knew you had at least 6 cousins down here. Fucking hey.
I think it might be 8. But the majority of the cousins are all on the Puerto Rican side, so you know there's a ton of them.
Oh, hey, I grew up in South Tampa, large Cuban and Puerto Rican community. I grew up with mojo pork and Cuban sandwiches and fucking living the dream. I miss it, man. I love my Boricuas. I miss you guys.
Let me chime in. We got a lot more Puerto Ricans here after the earthquake as well, though. But I will say this. Every time we have a home game, any northern team comes down here, they look at it like a vacation because they spend the week at the beach and shit. So we always get flooded by foreign fans.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, every time people I look at it like a vacation because I live in Chicago, but maybe I should go more often because last year I went twice. Tampa at Arizona. Me and Stunna talked earlier. And Tampa home against Arizona. I'm sorry, Tampa home against Indianapolis. They went 2-0 and I was there. Only 2 home wins last year. All I'm saying, this year, different story. We got Tom Brady, but we still flopped Sunday night at home. We still flopped Monday night at home. But look at us now. We turned the Jets. We're in the damn Super Bowl. I want to ask you guys here. When the Buccaneers were amidst their biggest struggles this season, when they were struggling Monday night against the Rams, beat up, when they limped in, Sunday night against Kansas City, obviously before those, they got their tails kicked in by the Saints. It was just a bad 3 out of 4 game stretch. It was a tough one, but it wasn't a good one. We were 7-5. Tony Romo said after the game, "Oh, geez, Jim, the Buccaneers and the Chiefs, we could see these 2 teams once again down the road in the Super Bowl, Jim."
That's a terrible impersonation, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to impersonate the $21 million man. He's got a $21 million voice. I got a free voice. I got a negative word.
Play the audio.
Yeah, got to roll the audio. If I only had an audio boy, come on, roll the audio, play the
audio.
But no, nonetheless, Tony Romo predicted this. Did you guys think this was a possibility when Tony Romo said that? The Buccaneers came on strong that second half. Bucco, we'll start with you. Did you think that it was going to be Chiefs Bucks in the Super Bowl after that week?
I'm glad you started with me. You know, because we actually communicated about this in the chat. I said we're not going to lose another fucking game. We're going to see these guys again in February. I said that to you directly, and
Yep.
we have not lost another fucking game, and we're seeing these boys in February. What I have said rang true. We are winning this game as well. I'm not wavering from my confidential stance. Well, we are good, man. We're a good football team. We deserve to be here. I don't know why we keep getting slighted by the national media and the Cleveland fans, but we're gonna win this game.
Big Mike, you got anything to say about that? And then, did you think that Bucks and Chiefs was a possibility after that Chiefs Bucks game?
I think when you're bringing Patrick Mahomes and Tom Brady into this thing, anything is possible. They are the two best quarterbacks in the league. Now, again, if you see the symbol on my hat, you know I haven't been able to stand Tom Brady for over 2 decades.
Yeah,
but listen, I respect the hell out of him. He is a great. He's he's the GOAT, and I think the biggest thing for him and for you guys is this year proved he was the reason New England was winning, not just Belichick. You know, and listen, when Brady got weapons, he was shining. Once they figured it out, I mean, you're talking about a team that is brand new together. How many new guys on both sides of the ball? No OTAs. Camp was really abbreviated, and no preseason. So listen, this year anything was possible. I think if you look at the national media from the beginning of the year, these two teams were on a collision course according to them, just because of the quarterbacks.
Yeah.
So listen, I know I put my prediction in for Kansas City to win, but I can tell you this: I would not be shocked if you boys pulled this out. I would not be. This is going to be one of the better Super Bowls we've seen in a long time.
We can agree there. Yeah. What you got on it, Stunna?
I think that the problems we had there with that little stretch was our bye week coming so late, man. We were just beat up, and we had a stretch of games. You could just see that we were wore out. And after the bye week, we got rejuvenated. We fixed a lot of our issues. And so, Kansas City, they basically were the dominant team all year. But to me, like I said on the earlier podcast, the Atlanta exposed them. The Browns exposed them. They're kind of limping out now into the Super Bowl, where we were kind of limping into our bye week. So it's kind of funny how that occurred. And I will definitely say, Big Rican, that Tom Brady definitely exposed Bill Belichick. There's no doubt about that with what he did this year. I mean, it's obvious that Belichick was riding his coattails at this point. But everyone thought Kansas City. I thought that we would have to get better to overcome New Orleans, and that's exactly what we did. And playoff Lenny had a big part to do with that, where he really wasn't a function then. And as far as facing the Chiefs, I think I would put Jamil Dean on Hill and put Carlton Davis on their number 2, and I like our chances.
And I'm glad you mentioned Jamil Dean, because a lot of people don't realize we didn't have Jamil Dean. We didn't have him. We didn't have Vita Vea. Godwin had three screws in his fucking hand. We were banged up big time, but we were nowhere near where we're at right now. AB was only playing in a second or third game. We weren't in the right spot. We had just played fucking 12 straight games. I really, really hope they come into this game with that big head. We put up 200 yards in the fucking first quarter on these bums. I'm really hoping that they feel that way, because they're not playing the same football team that they played in week 12.
I don't think Andy Reid will let him feel that, though. I really don't.
Well, I mean, Andy Reid's also got some shit. He's dealing with his fucking kid.
I saw
being high as a kite, almost killing a 3-year-old child. This shit's fucking disturbing, bro. He needs to get his family in order.
Yeah, I know. This is a sensitive subject, but we have to bring it up on the Buccaneers. Coach Britt Reed, linebackers coach, only in his young 30s. A lot of media is not talking about it, but he did, under the influence, strike a couple of cars close to Arrowhead Stadium. It's left the 5-year-old in critical condition at this very point in time, according to ESPN's Diana Russelli, and it's very sad. what's happening. He was a victim of a DUI about 13 years prior to this. And in 2007, he also got arrested for pulling a gun on somebody's car as well. Yeah. So this guy has a big issue, and somehow he's made his way up to being a linebackers coach. And I'm all for second chances and even sometimes third. But this one's a little alarming. I feel bad for what Andy Reid's been through and his family, but sometimes you got to wonder if, football shouldn't be the main focus with some things going on.
You said it. And I'm not going to say that this is sad. I mean, I feel bad for that child. This is Beyonce. This is bullshit. It pisses me off.
Agreed.
This guy's had multiple DUIs, multiple drug arrests, multiple issues. And the other son, forget his name, but the other son had multiple issues with arrests and addiction and heroin and ended up killing himself, if I'm not mistaken. Not trying to diminish what addiction is and what mental health is. I get that. What I'm trying to say is, when you're on this pedestal in the NFL as a coach, a player, whatever, you have to be held to a higher standard. You have to be able to have your personal life control as well as your business life. Like I work utility construction. I install fiber. If I'm coming out here fucking, running into people, I'm gonna lose my job. I'm not gonna have I get a speeding ticket over 15 miles an hour. I'm done. I can never work again. This guy can have multiple DUIs, fucking heroin addiction, pulling guns on security guards, and he's an NFL coach. That's nepotism and privilege, and it pisses me off that nothing ever gets done about this stuff, and it keeps happening over and over again. And I really don't like it. It's a bad look, and it gives the opening to the narrative of the privilege stuff. You know what I'm talking about, but yeah, I ain't gonna go there.
Yeah, I mean, that's a coach's son, obviously getting the first crack at a linebacker's job. Maybe not deserving, maybe deserving, not sure. Stunna, you have anything to say about this situation with Coach Reid?
I agree with Bruce, man. You don't hire your own children. I didn't like when Lovey did it here. If you want your kid to get in the NFL, put him on somebody else's staff. Don't hire your own children. It doesn't seem accountable to me.
Yeah, it's not great optics heading into this one. And also another thing before we get to our last little bit of Super Bowl coverage in a little bit, we also have Hall of Fame voting tonight. I want to hear your guys' thoughts. Going to name the list of finalists, and then we're going to go around the room and see who we think is going to make this year's Hall of Fame. We have a couple of Bucks in there, so that would be cool to get one of them, if not both of them, into the Hall of Fame in time for tomorrow's Super Bowl. They'd be at the Super Bowl. They'd be on display. That'd be pretty fun. So we have the finalist name, and we're going to go over them here, and then we're going to go around and say who we think is going to make it. So Jared Allen, a former defensive end with the Chiefs, Vikings, Bears, and Panthers. Rondé Barber, former Buccaneers cornerback and then safety for a year from 97 to 2012 as we lose Bucco The Bruce. Tony Boselli, Jaguars offensive tackle from 91 to 95 to 02, and we got Bucco The Bruce joining again. And then Leroy Butler, who is a Packers safety. Alan Faneca, who is a member of the Steelers, the Jets, and the Cardinals. Torrey Holt, who was a member of the Rams and Jaguars. Calvin Johnson, a Lions all-time great who retired too soon. John Lynch, a great for the Buccaneers and Broncos. Peyton Manning, a Colt and a Broncos legend. Clay Matthews Sr., Browns and Falcons. Big Reek, and you got a Browns on the line. We'll see if he could get in. Sam Mills, linebacker for the Saints and Panthers. Richard Seymour, Patriots, Raiders, defensive end and nose tackle. Zach Thomas, the former Cowboy and Dolphin. Reggie Wayne, the Colt and Patriot. And then Charles Woodson, the former Raider and Packer. Big Mike, we'll start with you here. We're going to zone in on Clay Matthews, specifically the former Brown from 1978 to 1993. Do you like his chances of getting his name called for the Hall of Fame tonight?
When I do the podcast stuff, I don't really throw out the colorful words, but I will today. It needs to fucking happen. This is a man who helped revolutionize the linebacker position. And let me tell you something. Those Browns defenses in the 80s would punch you in the face faster than it would hit you. This is a defense that people would fear to go along with a good offense. It is about time. He should have been in already, but he should be in this year. If I had to pick the rest of it, I think the two no-brainers in there are Peyton Manning, good big shock.
Absolutely.
And as much as it hurts me to say this, Charles Woodson. You talk about two guys who revolutionized the game itself. I talked about Brady for years being a system quarterback. And the reason I always gave Peyton the nod was because Peyton was always the system. Even when he went to Denver, that Peyton was the system. That's why Adam Gase got 2 head coaching jobs. Stiff. But
crazy-eyed Adam Gase.
Oh my God!
Looking
yeah, he looks like he was getting a cattle prod from somewhere. But anyway, so those 3 I think are definitely in. I think what's forgotten is Tony Boselli was the first pick the Jags ever made. He was the cornerstone of a franchise that came out of nowhere to shock the world and almost get to a Super Bowl. What was it, year 3 or 4 of the franchise they got there?
2. Second year they made it to the AFC Championship
with Mark
game.
Brunell. With Mark Brunell.
Yeah, Mark Brunell.
So I would put him. Listen, Richard Seymour was the anchor of a multiple Super Bowl winning defense. I think outside of that, Zach Thomas, I think, is a little borderline. And listen, I grew up a Jet fan watching a lot of Zach Thomas. I just think if Zach Thomas gets in and Clay Matthews Sr. does not, there is really something wrong with the process.
Yeah.
So if I'm doing a couple, it's Clay Matthews, Peyton Manning, Charles Woodson, and Tony Boselli would be the 4 that I would put in, and I'm sure they're going to put more.
Yeah.
But those would be the top 4.
I feel like I'm doing an episode of Chappelle's Show. I'm going to say Dylan, and Dylan. Rondé fucking Barber needs to be in the Hall of Fame. He is the greatest. He epitomized and created what is known today as the nickel corner. He's the only corner to have over 1,000 tackles, and he's got almost 1,200. He's got 30 sacks. He's got 45 interceptions. He revolutionized the nickel corner position. He made it what it is. Greatest corner to ever play, in my opinion, that was not, your typical outside lockdown guy. Rondé Barber needs to be in the damn Hall of Fame. It's ridiculous. We're still talking about him. Honestly, I love Megatron. I would like to put Megatron in. I don't think, because he only played 9 years, I don't think he's a first ballot worthy guy. So if it's my list, it's Rondé Barber, Richard Seymour, Jared Allen, Peyton Manning, and Charles Woodson. Those are the guys that I'm putting in, and maybe Torrey Holt. Maybe Torrey Holt. A lot of people forget how good Torrey Holt really was. But that's my list.
Yeah. Bucco, a lot of people forget Torrey Holt was the guy who helped Phillip Rivers set all those records down at NC State.
Yeah, I mean, Torrey Holt was a beast, dude.
Yeah.
And a lot of people also forget he was a brief member of the Jacksonville Jaguars as well, and helped revolutionize some things there with some young players in Jacksonville when he went there in his last season as well. They had a guy named Mike, the original Mike Thomas, I want to say, or something along those lines. But they had a receiver there who broke out under Torrey Holt's wings. So real quick, Stunna, who do you think and expect to see in the Hall of Fame tonight?
You never know who's going to get in there with the AP. To me, the Hall of Fame should respect longevity. All right, you got Rondé Barber played 16 years. You got Clay Matthews played forever. You got Charles Woodson played forever. Peyton Manning's going to get in first ballot. We know that because of his popularity. So you never know what they're going to do, because they seem to do things silly. But to me, it should go by longevity, who played the longest and who played the longest at a high level.
Yeah, and I think I'd put in, if I had to guess, and I think Bucco's point on Rondé Barber was great as well. Rondé has some stats that you would never perhaps see again from a defensive back, especially with the sack attributes that he had. He had some really good sack numbers, especially for defensive back. And Rondé Barber, actually, it would have been fun to talk about him with Anthony Gaitor, which we've talked about on a pod before, because Gaitor was teammates with him, actually, when Rondé Barber underwent the change to safety, and Anthony Gaitor was a cornerback. He got to mentor from Rondé, and he learned a lot of great things. If I were to guess some guys to get in the Hall of Fame tonight, I think it goes as followed. I think Peyton Manning's obviously a no-doubt Hall of Famer. He has a ring with Indy. He has a ring with Denver. He made 4 Super Bowls in total. He has numerous MVP awards. His gameplay, his line of scrimmage play was outstanding. And he did it with very bad defenses, too, in a time where NFL was built on defenses and running games. The Colts gave
that 06 defense was pretty damn good with Mathis and Freeney and Bob Sanders and those guys.
No, they were rated really bad, though. If you look at the numbers, they let up a lot of points per game.
They did.
Huh?
I say they did. They were very good up front. Their back end had issues.
Yeah, their back end had a lot. All they had was Bob Sanders and then a couple of guys. I remember this because my brother is a Colts fan, and I just remember that what was the argument? Was Peyton Manning carrying the defense? And everyone would say, well, they do have Dwight Freeney, and they actually had Booger McFarland at that time. They had a handful of guys, but it's interesting. I still think, obviously, Peyton Manning is a highlight of the Hall of Fame class, even if you do argue the case that they did have a good defense. Stunna, did you want to add something?
Yeah, the Tampa 2 doesn't work unless you have the Steel Curtain or Warren Sapp.
Yeah, absolutely. Warren Sapp. Actually, we got to talk about Warren Sapp and a questionable quote he made earlier this week in a little bit. We'll talk about that shortly. But I think Peyton Manning highlights this class. I do think Clay Matthews gets in because I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Big Rican, but is this his last year of eligibility on this type of ballot too?
Yes, this is his last year of eligibility on the main ballot.
So I think that's why he gets in as well. I think they always have, bigger hearts for guys on their last year of the ballot. We'll see if that holds true. Clay Matthews was an iron horse for that Cleveland defense as well. Obviously paved the way there for a long time. So I'd like to see Manning and Matthews go in. I think Jared Allen gets in. This guy got after quarterbacks at a very high rate, and he did it for a couple of different teams, and he did it really good for the Chiefs and Vikings. And he was kind of the first. Him and Mike Vrabel were the first to revolutionize, playing tight end position as a defender. Jared Allen would go in on the goal line as a defender and catch some touchdowns too in his time in Kansas City and open the door for guys to do some stuff like that as well. And then I think Tony Boselli should be in. I think one offensive lineman every year, me personally, should get in. That's a position I played growing up, and I have a soft spot for O-line. There's 5 O-line positions, so one's definitely deserving of being named into the Hall of Fame every year. And to me, Tony Boselli outdoes Alan Faneca. Although Faneca is great, he has years to come where Boselli's time is running out before Faneca's on the Hall of Fame. And Boselli did a lot of good things for that Jacksonville team, especially early on in their days with Mark Burdell and company, as mentioned. So I think he should get in. And then, I think Megatron is a chance. First ballot, maybe not because his shortness of his playing time, but he did break a ton of records playing with Detroit. Didn't equate to many wins and didn't equate to him saying good things about the Lions franchise necessarily, but I wouldn't be shocked if we see his name get called tonight. And then obviously Rondé Barber and John Lynch. I mean, I think both of these guys deserve to get in. Will we see 2 Bucks? Probably not. You probably or rarely never see 2 guys get in from the same team in the same class. But I'm hoping one of these guys get in. I think Rondé's more deserving, but John Lynch has been on the ballots longer, so maybe that has something to do with the factor. Either way, though, I mean, John Lynch's stats are better than Troy Polamalu's. And Polamalu got in before John Lynch. I don't know how the hell that happens.
Polamalu played for the Steelers. Ask a Steeler hater. Every fucking Steeler gets the nod. I don't know if Rooney's got ties in Canton or what it is, but every Steeler gets in the Hall. I don't know why, but they always get in. Fucking Stallworth doesn't deserve to be in there. Lynn Swann doesn't deserve to be in. Terry Bradshaw is probably the most overrated fucking quarterback in the Hall besides Joe Namath. So, miss me.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. No, I talk ball, dude. This is what I do. But no, seriously, you were talking about Tony Baselli, and I read something on Twitter said that he was the only person to ever be in two franchise drafts. Jaguars were their first franchise draft, got him, and then when the Texans came in the league, they used their
picked him up.
franchise pick to take him from the Jags. So he was a part
That's
of two
right.
franchise drafts. I was like, damn, this dude, he was two teams' number one pick. That seems to be impossible, but it actually happened with Tony Baselli. I like the kid. He was a bruiser. He reminded me of Paul Gruber. Paul Gruber's a very underrated, trenches, like nasty son of a bitch. Him and Baselli share that trait.
I forgot about that whole Baselli draft thing as well. That's pretty crazy. He didn't end up playing any games, or did he?
Yeah, I think he played the first year. I think he got hurt in the first year.
Yeah, he got hurt in the first year because David Carr got hit every
hit
single
a
play.
A lot. I don't think that record ever be broken. That man got hit a lot.
So I'm reading his Wikipedia right now, and it says Baselli was selected by the Texans first, but injuries prevented him from playing, and he retired after the season. As a sign of his success, and the Jaguars inducted him into the Jaguars Hall of Fame. So he technically did play for the Texans. He's a Warrior. We'll see if he gets in tonight. I love this feeling of the Hall of Fame before the Super Bowl, and then you have the Hall of Fame honorees at the Super Bowl. So we got a little bit of time left on the Buccaneers. We're going to hang out for a little longer here, as this only happens once every 18 years, a Super Bowl appearance on average for this Buccaneers franchise. Mike, how would you be feeling tonight if your team was in the game tomorrow? Obviously, still exciting Super Bowl no matter what, but just say if the Browns were against the Buccaneers tomorrow, which almost did happen, how would you be feeling?
A couple of different things. One would be an anticipation that you can't quite describe, because the Browns have never been to the Super Bowl. Their last NFL championship was in 1964. When Jim Brown carried them to a title. I would be anxious that a team from Ohio was getting a shot at Brady. But it would be with a lot of Cleveland sport fans, and the only team in New York I root for is the Mets. So Cleveland sport fans, whether it's the Cavs, the Indians, the Browns, we wait for the other shoe to drop. We just do. The only time I've ever been real confident going into a championship situation with one of my teams was twice. The national championship game against Oregon, when Ohio State went out and smoked them. And believe it or not, Game 7 in 2016 against Golden State. I thought the Cavaliers were going to win that game and run away with it. If the Browns were in the Super Bowl, there would be excitement. There would be, holy cow, this is weird. But there would be fear, because I honestly believe they would burn Cleveland to the ground if they win one.
Yeah, Cleveland would maybe. Bucco, will let you talk here shortly. I just want to give our listeners a quick update on the State of the Buccaneers Super Bowl episode. We're going to be live for 21 more minutes until 7:30 Central. We got Bucco the Bruce here for a couple more minutes until 7:15. We're going to run the ship until 7:30. We had a plethora of great guests tonight. We were joined by Anthony Gaitor, former Buccaneer, Saints, Cardinal, Dolphin cornerback, and he won a CFL championship. He gave some great Super Bowl insight. He predicted the Buccaneers to win. We were joined by a Buccaneers fan and one of our brothers, Huncho, Mr. Killa Huncho. He predicted the Bucs to win as well. And then we've been joined by Big Rican, Bucco the Bruce, Tampa Stunna. We've had a couple of fun comments as well. It's just been a fun episode with the Super Bowl tomorrow. Bucco, I'll let you continue what you were saying.
I honestly completely forgot what I was saying. Oh, yeah, no, Cleveland. I honestly think if they beat the Chiefs in that game, in the divisional round, they would have burned the city. Those fans are, I respect them. I really do, because they are some grimy, salt of the earth guys, and reminds me a lot of the blue-collar guys we got down here in Tampa. You appreciate fan bases like that stick around through the years. As you know, as a Bucs fan, I think we had 8 total winning seasons out of 48 seasons.
Losing his franchise of all 4 sports.
Well, I think Detroit just passed us this year. I think the Lions got us beat now. Someone told me that. I don't know if it's true. You had to check me on that. But someone told me the Lions have us beaten now. Thank God. But no, seriously, for you to endure that is just the joy you feel, like what I feel today, being in the Super Bowl. You know, it's gratifying. It makes it all worth it. And the fact that my kids are now old enough to see it, and me throwing them up in the ceiling when we winning games and stuff, it's a beautiful thing, man. I want y'all
That's
to
awesome.
embrace this moment, because it could be another 18 fucking years before we do it again. I hope not. I hope not, but because in 18 years I might not fucking be here, being honest with you. But let's enjoy this shit. Let's go out. Let's win this game. To the Red and Pewter group, man, y'all stay safe out there. I know you're drinking like some fish. Be safe, have fun. Let's get this fucking game. Let's get it going. Go Bucks.
Yeah, there's Bucco's long off. Go Bucks indeed. Bucco, thanks so much for joining tonight. Once again, Bucco the Bruce has left the building on the Buccaneers, but we're still here for about 19 more minutes. Once again, Mike, thanks so much for joining. We do appreciate you being a guest here on the Buccaneers, joining us on Super Bowl Eve. Me and Stunna left. Stunna, how are you feeling right now with the Super Bowl tomorrow?
I feel really good, man. I'm going to be spending time with my family. I always say family time's the best time. And a couple years ago, we did play Cleveland. I think we won 17-14 in overtime or something. And it's being around the dog pound, man. Some of them guys were crazy. Some of the guys are really nice. So it's a mixed group, and they're fans. We had fun with them, and it was kind of unique because we left, man. We're like, fuck these, we give up, man. These guys suck. And then we hit that field goal as we're walking out the stadium. So it's like, wow, we'll take the victory, but that was terrible. And that was one of those games where Jameis takes a 14-point lead and tries to give it to the other team. But I love like I said, Cleveland and Tampa were kindred spirits because we're minor markets, and we both have people attacking our team constantly and trying to buy our teams and shit. So, we know what Cleveland's been through. And, like I said, we were going to play them in preseason. I was actually thinking about going up to Cleveland this year, but, shit didn't work out so good. But as far as us hosting the Super Bowl, man, it's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
Yeah, I think that was the 0-16 year, because I had a buddy of mine who actually went to all 16 games that year.
Baker was on that team.
Was Baker on that team? Oh, that's right. Yeah. That was when they had the helmet hit they never called. I remember now.
It was a lot of stuff going on, but that was where he has that like this open mouth drop where the field goal was made. If you look it up, the GIF.
No, I remember now.
I remember that game when Jameis throw the ball literally right to a Browns D lineman for a pick during that game, Stunna?
Bro, he played horrible, man. We came out in the first quarter, went 14 up, and then 14 all, and then overtime, man. Our defense played well at times, but no, he was terrible.
Yeah, and fast forward to 2021 now, but it was a 2020 football season, and both of our franchises, the Cleveland Browns, the Buccaneers, are in much better shape than they were that time ago. And as we're talking about the Super Bowl, the Browns could be seeing one next year. However, the Buccaneers are in one tomorrow. The Browns are almost in that game. Chad Henne played hero ball for the Chiefs. And Big Mike, when you were watching that game, what did you see with Kansas City against the Browns that made you think, oh man, this team is really good and this team might have a chance at winning the Super Bowl?
Well, it's the offense. It's the offense and the offensive weapons and their play caller who make this team run. I will be honest with you. I was not impressed with Kansas City's defense. I thought the Browns should have run the ball more, especially with the two-headed monster they have. But I'll say this. We alluded to it before we went on. The Cleveland Browns are a horrible call away from possibly being in the Super Bowl. Because I agree. I think the Browns would have smoked Buffalo. And the whole thing with that, and I want to ask your guys' opinion on it, because the helmet's not reviewable. I get that. That's fine. But they review turnovers. So if the illegal play causes the turnover, how is that not reviewable? And Todd, I see you shaking your head. I think you and I talked about this. But yeah, that's my whole issue.
My thing is, I don't get what's annoying was it was blatant,
Agreed.
and no huddle up or anything,
No, and the thing is, you're going to get some calls when you're in your building. I get that. You're going to get some calls when you're the Chiefs and you're the defending Super Bowl champions. But when it's that blatant, I mean, there was a few different things I have seen in the last 5 Browns games I've watched, which was down the stretch, and then in the 2 playoff games, they're not calling illegal hands to the face. They're not calling it. And the sack that I want to say it was Clark had on Baker, he grabbed him by the face.
Yeah.
If that's any other quarterback, that's not Baker Mayfield, that's a call, and that's a first down after 15 yards. So, do I think the Browns are a better team than Kansas City? No, probably not. Not as constituted on that Sunday. I think fully healthy with Odell and with the weapons the way they are, and with the offensive line healthy, yeah, I think the Browns are as good as Kansas City. The only difference being it's Patrick Mahomes and Baker Mayfield, and I love me some Baker Mayfield.
Yeah,
so he's not there yet.
He played good this year, though.
Listen, over 3,500 yards, 40-8. Come on.
Back in the day, that would have been.
I'm sorry, 30-8. I'm sorry, 30-8.
Right, but still, nonetheless, back in the day, that would have been obviously one of the better top 5 QB performances in the NFL. The QB positions evolved a little bit. Stats have inflated like we're seeing in all sports, home runs in baseball, goals in hockey, and then in football, passing yards, and basketball, 3-pointers made, et cetera, et cetera. But nonetheless, that Baker Mayfield stat line is pretty impressive, pretty dang good, and we were really close to seeing a Browns-Bucks Super Bowl. We got Chiefs-Bucks. That's going to be a mammoth war. And speaking of those penalties, the Bucks seem to always get called on those cheesy, unnecessary roughnesses when it's not really unnecessary roughness. And then seeing that blatant one not called in the Browns game really kind of irked me. And Stunna, these officials seem to always screw the Bucks, so isn't that right?
Yeah, I mean, it's been years and years. In fact, we talked about when we got Washington that it was going to be revenge of the 2005 playoff game that we basically got stolen. But as you look at the playoffs this year, the 2 games that were obviously the Bucks were favoring and one team over the other was the Browns versus KC and us versus the Saints. We were just able to overcome the Saints because their offense was so trash. But, I mean, every year versus the Saints, all they do is clutch and grab our receivers all the way down the field, and we never get a pass interference. And that's happened in the playoffs again. But I guess, Brady mentality said they're going to cheat. We're just going to have to beat them. And even the touchdown to Evans the guy was all over his back. I mean, it was just really sad and pathetic, everything that the Saints were getting away with. And the same thing happened with the Chiefs and the Browns. I mean, the Chiefs were just getting away with everything. And then they were calling penalties on the Browns. Same thing happened to us against the Saints. But it is what it is, man. Sometimes you have to beat the officials and the referees, too, just like what happened to us this year at the Bears, man. The officials stepped in after we went up 13-0 and made sure we weren't going to win the game.
Yeah, that Saints, those calls against the Saints were really, really bad. It was obviously mirror image pretty much of that Chiefs-Browns officiating game, as you guys kept saying. Both have been officiated pretty poorly, in my opinion. Both were not done well, but hopefully the crew tomorrow could do better. Speaking of crew tomorrow, the announced crew tomorrow is CBS. Tony Romo, Jim Nantz. Mike, how are we feeling with the CBS guys?
I got to tell you, I love Romo and Nantz. I really do. They had the Browns-Chiefs game, and they really do call it down the middle. I mean, they get as excited for both teams as you can possibly get excited. Nantz had a great line. I don't know if you remember it, but when Henny threw the interception to Carl Joseph in the end zone, and he said, "Hey, Cleveland, you got the ball with a chance to beat the champs. Where are you?" And I was just like, I'm in my chair, Jim. But I got to tell you, I'm not a Joe Buck hater, so that's a little different. But I love Nantz and Tony Romo. Who's doing the sideline tomorrow night?
That's Stunna. Do you know who's doing the sideline for CBS tomorrow?
Nah, I have no idea.
Yeah, I'm
Right.
gonna wear my. Let me look that up though, real quick. I'll look into it real quick. But I do love Romo as well. Super Bowl announced team CBS. I'm drawing a blank. It's on. I think it's a dude with the Well, it's Jim Nance and Tony Romo. Who else do they say? Let's see if they say this will be the 6th Super Bowl with Nance on play-by-play duties. He first called a big game since '07 with Phil Simms, Tracy Wolfson, Evan Washburn. That's who I was thinking of, and Jay Feely. So we'll have
Jay Feely was in there.
Jay Feely's a kicking specialist. Evan Washburn is that dude with slick back here, and then
Jesuit grad.
What's up, Stunna?
Feely went to Jesuit High School. He's a Tampa native.
Wow, so maybe we'll get some insight from him specifically tomorrow. It says Wolfson is the usual sideline reporter for the Nance and Romo crew. This will be the 4th Super Bowl she's on the sideline for. Wolfson joined Nance's crew for NFL games in 2014. This will be the 3rd Super Bowl broadcast for Washburn. He joined CBS in 2014, part of the calls in 16 and 19. And then Feely is a former NFL kicker who provides both kicking insights and other commentary during games for CBS. He, like Washburn, assisted on the call of the games in 16 and 19. Feely made 332 career Super Bowls. So pretty good stacked announced crew, wouldn't you guys say?
I like Feely. He kicked for the Jets on Rex Ryan's first run in the playoffs. And as a matter of fact, because of an injury, he had a punt for Steve Weatherford in Cincinnati. So he did really good there. But, I like Nance's crew. The Washburn guy just kind of rubs me the wrong way for some reason. I don't know why. But as far as calling the game, maybe. As far as just calling the game, I think Nance and Romo are the top 2. Can I spin this a different way?
Yeah, go for it.
It's NFL Honors tonight. We were talking about the Hall of Fame class being announced. But let me ask you this. Is Kevin Stefanski the coach of the year?
He could be. I seen Brian DeBole was just the assistant coach of the year out of Buffalo. So coach of the year could be Stefanski, who uplifted a Browns team with Freddie Kitchens with a very similar roster into a near Super Bowl contender. I think Stefanski's a top choice for sure. Will he get it? Who knows, because the NFL and small media markets, but he deserves it. That's for sure. I think he's up there. I think another guy up there is Bruce Arians. I don't think Arians wins it. I think Stefanski's more deserving because Arians' roster was pretty hype, but Arians should get some consideration. Stunna, do you think Stefanski has a shot at winning Coach of the Year for the Browns?
I think he's deserving. Now, you were talking about the AP here, but I think he deserves it. I mean, and if you look at all the teams that had to overcome a lot this year, I mean, they had to overcome Pittsburgh, the Bills. I mean, they just kind of had the most talented team in their division. But, the Browns had to overcome Pittsburgh and Baltimore, so they really had a challenge. Can't really think of anybody in the NFC that really did that other than maybe Tampa having to overcome the Saints. But I think he's definitely deserving, but we never know. Though they might give it to Andy Reid. This is the AP, you know what I'm saying, how they are.
Yeah, they like their big names. Mike, do you agree with Stunna's analysis of the situation, or do you think something else happens?
I do too, but I think with the hype that Stefanski brought to the Browns at the 11-5, you got to think of it this way too. The AFC North had the best overall winning percentage in all of football. He finished 11-5 in that division. He finished 3-3, and his last 2 wins. Well, really, one wasn't his win, but you win your last 2 games against the Pittsburgh Steelers. One of them in Pittsburgh in startling fashion. In that playoff game, you should be really considered. And I think he's going to win. I really do. I think tonight's going to be a night for the Cleveland Browns. I think Clay Matthews is going to get in the Hall of Fame. And I think Kevin Stefanski is going to win the Coach of the Year.
And that'd be a nice little consolation prize for a Browns team that did come really close to playing in a Super Bowl. At least they could have a Hall of Fame nod, and at least they could have a Coach of the Year award win under their belt. So that would be nice for their organization as a whole in general, as the award show appears closer. And as we inch closer to the finish line, we have about 5 more minutes left on this Buccaneers Super Bowl pregame show, joined by Big Rican and Tampa Stunna, our great co-host of the Buccaneers. Real quick, guys. Mike, what do you think the lasting image and the lasting impression of the Super Bowl 55 game will be tomorrow? What do you think is one last memory, one last picture that will be stuck in people's heads when they think, oh, this is the thing I think of when I think of Super Bowl 55, Chiefs-Bucks?
I think people are going to remember it's the first time a team played in their home building in a Super Bowl. I think people are also going to remember that, listen, Tom Brady's got a better chance in his career getting to the Super Bowl than Steph Curry has a hit and a three-point shot. That's how scary good he has been. But the lasting image, it's always the same thing. It ends up who wins the game. It's who's the MVP, who's standing there doing the snow angels and the confetti. I think one of the better plays of last year's game was made by George Kittle in that first big play over the middle, but nobody remembers that. They remember Tyreek Hill getting open down the seam, and they remember Sammy Watkins hitting a big play too. It really depends who wins. And like I said, I may have picked Kansas City, but this is anybody's game tomorrow. This is one of the better matchups that we've seen in the last few years.
Yeah, this one's going to be a lot of fun. One of the better Super Bowl matchups, in my opinion, of that I could remember, at least hype-wise, between the GOAT, Baby GOAT. It's a lot of hype. Baby GOAT, that's what people are calling him, the little GOAT. Even though it might be premature, he is great. That's a name that's been given to him. Stunna, what do you think is the last image or impression we get in the Super Bowl tomorrow? What do you think fans are left with as they walk away?
The lasting image is always whoever's hosting the Lombardi over the top of their heads. You know what I'm saying? That's the images you always remember. Payne Brett, Breeze lifting a trophy, and that's always what you remember. The lasting image, unfortunately for me, is going to be a half-empty stadium with a bunch of people wearing their masks. I mean, it's just where we're at this year, and it's kind of sad, but it's where we're at. It's just our reality. So that's going to be another lasting image. And then maybe the weekend. I mean, he's supposed to put on a really good show, so maybe there's some, memories made from that. But, for me, it's going to be about the Buccaneers, playing in their home stadium, and that's something that's never happened. So that's something that I'm going to remember.
Yeah, that's something a lot of people will remember. It might never happen again. Of course, it's never happened before. Real quick here as well, The Weeknd is performing the halftime show. I'm glad Stunna mentioned that. He said to have no surprise guest with him, obviously, during COVID. It would be very hard. One last fun question here. It rang a bell in my head as we're talking about COVID, halftime show, etc. One last question I got for Mike and Stunna before we wrap up the Super Bowl. That was a fast hour and a half. Holy crap, when you have fun, time flies. Fellas, Stunna, we'll start with you here, and then we'll bounce to Mike, and then we'll close out. Stunna, do you think the winning team will make a Disney World appearance per usual, given the COVID circumstances? A team wins, they say, I'm going to Disney World. Will that be the case this year, or with COVID, do you think the plug is pulled on that?
Which Disney World? The one in California, the one in Orlando? You know what I'm saying? I don't think they're going to California the way they got that state locked down, so it depends.
Yeah, I think they usually go to the one in Orlando, but I can't confirm that. Mike, do you think that they're going to be making an appearance, the winning team, or do you think the plug's pulled?
I think the plug is pulled, and it is in Florida because it's always I'm going to Disney World. Disneyland's the one in California. But, yeah, no, I think the plug should be pulled. Let's get out of this thing so next year we can go. I mean, listen, not for nothing. The draft is in Cleveland.
Yeah.
I would love to go to the draft. I'm not standing in line for 6 hours, but I would love to have been able to go to the draft. I would love to. We're going to talk Monday night and other places I want to go, Tone.
Yeah, there's a lot of
that sucks.
Yeah, that does suck, man. It if the draft was in your backyard or in Cleveland, a place you love, it'd be a lot of fun to be able to have the opportunity and chance to go. A lot of other places I think people want to go as well as we wrap up here. Mike, thanks again so much for joining tonight. Stunna, thanks again for spending time on the live edition of the Super Bowl wrap-up show. It's been such a pleasure as we prepare for Super Bowl 55. It's been a hell of a time. It's going to be a great game. We do hope that we see a good one. We hope for a Bucs win, obviously. Reekin had the Chiefs. We had Bucs across the board everywhere else. But like Mike said, he expects a good one nonetheless, right,
We
Mike?
can't have all Bucs or it's a jinx.
Yep.
Just ask the world why the Browns beat the Steelers.
Because they were the better team, honestly.
Well, that and everybody else picked Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh, after they lost the Washington football team, everyone should have seen them for the frauds they were.
I saw them for the frauds they were when they beat us without Wyatt Teller and Nick Chubb.
Yeah.
Most overrated team in sports history.
Yeah, lately at least, that could be a great discussion as well on another pod. We have so much great football to talk about. We'll see what happens in the Super Bowl tomorrow. Guys, that's been the Buccaneers live Super Bowl show tonight. Joined by Mike, joined by Anthony Gaitor, joined by Stunna, Killa, Bucco. We had so many great guests, so many great call-ins, a couple questions and comments as well. It's been so much fun. We've had some sad news, some breaking news, some great topics, Hall of Fame topics, Super Bowl topics, etc. Been a tremendous time from Tampa Tones. Hopefully we could come at you with a victory post-game tomorrow. That would be incredible. On behalf of Big Mike from Big Reekin on Sports, Tampa Stunna, I'm Tampa Tones. That's the Buccaneers.